If I were buying my first home in Calgary today, I wouldn't start by browsing the internet, looking at listings, and I definitely wouldn't start by driving around neighborhoods, dreaming about the house that I want. There are 3 critical steps that I'm going to share with you today, and all of them will save you time, money, and possibly even the home of your dreams. I'm your host, Patrick Murray. Welcome to Life in Calgary, Alberta. If this is your first time in this channel and you'd like to know everything there is about what it's like to eat, sleep, breathe, live, and play in Calgary, Alberta, then please just hit that subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified every single time I release a new video. Now, I've lived in several major centers of my life, settling in Calgary way back in 2001. And not only that, I've been a residential realtor here since 2010. And all this means I do have some specialized knowledge about the city of Calgary and the surrounding bedroom communities. So if you are considering a move to the city of Calgary or you're considering selling your home, please feel free to reach out to me. Send me a text, email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you. All right, guys, let's examine these critical steps to purchasing a home right after this. Step number 1 is to get clear on your numbers. Now, I know a lot of us look at sticker price and we think we shop based on the sticker price of the property, but what we really do is shop based on the monthly payments. And here's something you need to consider. You need to consider what monthly payments for you feels comfortable. And then you need to think, well, what is your ceiling? What is it? How high payments is it where it starts to feel that things are a little bit tight, maybe a little bit too tight? And then you need to think, what's your happy zone? You know, what sort of payments allows you to work within your budget and still not feel like you're a slave to your mortgage? These are all things to consider first and foremost. Once I do that, I would start connecting with some professionals, and that's going to lead us to step number 2. Now, step number 2 is to connect with a good realtor. Now, I know we've just talked about some numbers and feeling comfortable with what you can pay. So you would naturally think that, well, the next step is to connect with my bank or my mortgage broker. But I say to connect with a good realtor because as realtors, we work with a lot of mortgage brokers very closely, and we know mortgage brokers that can help you to get to your goal and people that will be a really good fit for you. So consider this. I know that many people say, hey Patrick, you know, I'd prefer to work with my bank. Fantastic. That's fine. That's your comfort zone. I absolutely support that. But I do want you to consider this. When you go to your bank and you sit down with your person that manages your accounts, keep in mind this person is doing mortgages, but they're also opening accounts. They're doing investments. They wear a lot of hats. But I can connect you with a mortgage broker at your bank that works specifically with mortgages only. And the only way they get paid is when they find you the right mortgage for you at your bank. So that's something to consider. I can also connect you with a mortgage broker outside your bank that has, all sorts of different products and mortgages from different companies available to them. Some of them probably even at your bank. So this is good because you get a whole bunch of input from a bunch of different lenders. And I work with some very good mortgage brokers, and they're very good at selling you to the lenders to get you the best product for you and for what you're shopping. So that is step number 2. Step number 2, connect with your realtor to get connected with a good mortgage broker. So now that you've been connected with a great mortgage broker, that mortgage broker is going to do a proper pre-approval for you, pulling your credit, putting everything together so they know exactly how much you can spend and get you a rate hold. Find something that you're comfortable with so you know how much you can spend. Now you want to circle back to your realtor and work with your realtor to start looking at homes. Now, why work with a realtor? Well, first off, as realtors, we're in a lot of properties. So we notice a lot of red flags when they come up. Some things, we can point out things that you might want to consider when you're purchasing your property, things that might drive you crazy, things for consideration, that sort of thing. We also know valuations. So we know what things are worth in different neighborhoods throughout the city. And we can help you to handle your negotiations naturally when you purchase a property, which is huge. And that's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. It's not just finding a home. Finding a home is the fun part. But when we put together a contract and we work with the seller's agent to get you the best deal, that's where we really earn our pay. And we also coordinate all of the professionals involved in a transaction to make sure that we're driving the deal forward. Now, as a realtor, when a deal happens, I do drive the transaction. I make sure all the players who are involved are moving forward with the timelines to ensure that we're meeting our timelines so that we can get you the best home best home for you and your family. But also, I work with your mortgage broker to ensure that we're moving forward. I work with your home inspector. I'll even work with your lawyer and chat with them to ensure we're moving forward. And if you need referrals for professionals, again, lawyers is somebody else that we work with many lawyers as realtors, so we can refer you to somebody great that will be a great fit for you and your family. And I'd also choose a realtor when you're thinking about it that communicates very clearly. I always say to people, there are, close to 9,000 realtors in Calgary. Surely there's one that works best for you and your family. This is somebody you're going to be spending a lot of time with. And so you want to make sure that you enjoy that person. You want to make sure there's a trust there, and you want to make sure that you communicate really well, because communication is really key to a transaction. From looking at homes to working through the transaction and the paperwork to get you that home, and even possession dates and that sort of thing. So make sure that you're working with somebody that explains the process to you, that communicates clearly, and is going to help you through the transaction. It's somebody you like and trust and can spend a lot of time with, because you are going to be spending a lot of time with your realtor. So I've discussed the top 3 things I would do to ensure that I'm able to get a great home, that I'm saving time and I'm saving money, but I'm going to share a few other items that you may want to consider. I always recommend creating a list of non-negotiables and nice to have. This is something you will want to ensure that you're sharing with your real estate advisor as you do your search. So non-negotiables could be things like number of bedrooms in your home. It could be the commute to work. It could be the school zone that you're located in for where your kids will go to school, or the neighborhoods that are really key to you and really speak to you and your family. It could be things like having an attached garage or having a garage, that sort of thing. So consider your non-negotiables as to what you want in a home. And then you want to look at the nice to have. So nice to haves could be bonuses like a finished basement, or it could be a bigger yard, or it could have to do with the type of finishings in a property, updated finishings. And oftentimes these things will come down to the neighborhood you're in, the type of properties you're looking at, and the price point that you're looking to spend. So have your list of non-negotiables, have your list of nice to haves, so that you can really explore the search, because Calgary has a lot of diverse neighborhoods and a lot of diverse properties, and knowing price points and home styles moving forward helps your realtor to find you the best home for you and your family. So the next thing I would do, and we can call this step 5 if you will, is I would explore neighborhoods the smart way. Having too diverse of a search is just that. It's too diverse. You need to narrow your search. When I have clients that have a number of neighborhoods they're looking at and they send me 20 properties, I say to them, guys, give me your top 5. Show me your top 5 properties and let's go see those first, so we're not wasting your time. Let's find that out. But even better is to sit down with your realtor and to discuss 3 to 5 communities that really speak to you and narrow in on those areas, and then have a discussion with your realtor about your non-negotiables for those properties or in those neighborhoods, so that your realtor, who has a lot of experience looking at properties all over the city, can narrow down what is best for you. So study the average prices in those communities, look at the walkability scores, look at the commute times to work, look at the amenities in the area, and look at the schools that are available. Maybe you want to be close to the university or some sort of a post-secondary educational facility. Those are things to consider as well. And then, and only then, would I explore them in person. And that's the point when I say to my clients, do go and drive through those communities if you're not familiar with them, so that you can get familiar with them and see if those communities speak to you and your family. Now, the next step, or we can call it step 6 if you will, is being ready to act. Now, As a first-time buyer, many first-time buyers are looking at entry-level homes. And because they're generally a little bit lower priced than a lot of other homes that are on the market, there's a lot more competition because a lot more people can afford that type of product. So when you're looking at those properties, be ready to act, but you don't necessarily have to rush. And there is a distinction there, okay? So if I were a first-time buyer right now, I'd mentally prepare to write an offer. I'd be, ready to do so as soon as that property hits the market. But I'd also refuse to be pressured. So something to consider when you're looking at that home is something that fits your lifestyle. You want a home that's going to work for you and your family. You want something that fits your budget, of course, so that you're comfortable, and you want to feel like it's the right long-term move. Because in real estate, time helps your property accrue in value. So if you can stay there for at least 3 to 5 years, that's always a good thing for you and your family to pay down the mortgage and also get some more equity in your home at the same time. When these three things line up, I'd act confidently. And something to consider, and I say this to all of my clients, is we're never going to hit 100%. It would be fantastic if we could. Even people that go and build their own home, they never get it right 100%. It doesn't happen, just doesn't happen. But if we can get 80 to 90%, we're doing really, really well. Step number 7, negotiate like it matters, because frankly, it does. So you want to sit down with your realtor when it comes time to act on that property that you want to purchase, and make sure that you're putting in things that provides you a little bit of flexibility, because as a first home buyer, you don't have a home, so it's not something you need to sell. So flexibility is on your side during the negotiation, and that allows you a little more give and take if you don't own another home that you need to sell or get out of and coordinate dates with. So you want possession date flexibility. You want to work with the seller to find a possession date that works for them, something that works for you, but especially that works for them, because even, sometimes negotiating a contract doesn't come down to price. It comes down to terms. So if you're flexible in your possession date, that could help you moving forward. You want to have a strong deposit to show that seller that you're serious and that you're a serious player and you really want their home. And you want as clean and clear of contract terms as possible to make sure the deal flows smoothly. And that doesn't mean omitting important things. You want to ensure you have your financing condition and a property inspection and any other protections in place that you and your realtor discuss depending on the type of property. But you want to make sure that you're clear on what those terms and those conditions are. And then you want to have strong communication. And again, that comes down to working with your realtor who insulates you from the transaction, communicating with the other side to ensure that we can get a deal done. And to negotiate the best deal possible, these are all important. And again, like I said, price matters, but the structure of the contract matters too. So whether or not you win or lose a negotiation often comes down to terms, not necessarily just dollars. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, this is exactly the roadmap that I would follow if I were a first-time buyer. And if you would like some assistance to purchase your home, from getting pre-approved to finding the right property, to negotiation, to moving into your home, I'd be happy to be of assistance to you. Thanks again for joining me today. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and please feel free to reach out to me should you need assistance moving to purchase a home or sell a home here in Calgary, Alberta.